I sure am, and I have Anne-Marie to thank because Anne-Marie hooked my son up with a bunch of hockey books, one about Crosby, one about Tim Horton, one about Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, and so now Jack walks around holding a tiny little shop vac above his head like it's a Stanley Cup. He's got big dreams, guys. Big dreams, all because of you, Anne-Marie. Thank you. This morning, we are following some very unsettled weather in eastern Canada. We've got two areas of interest from Ontario all the way eastward towards the Atlantic. So you can see this quite unsettled mess. We'll start first with Atlantic Canada, where today we're seeing rain already in New Brunswick. Now that's sliding its way in through Nova Scotia for much of the afternoon. So the rain you have in New Brunswick this morning, that won't last all too long, maybe about lunchtime or so, and then it begins to move its way out. But for Nova Scotia, you can see most of the province is quite wet heading into the afternoon, including Yarmouth all the way up through Halifax and then portions of Cape Breton. Now that slides out as we head into this evening, but leaves behind a wee bit of cloud. In behind that, look at this sunshine through Friday. It's not the hottest day, but it will be nice and bright to round out the work week. Now into Saturday, we start to see a wee bit more precipitation that'll slide its way in towards Nova Scotia, but Newfoundland, I mean, you stay nice and sunny right through Saturday as well, with just variable cloudiness in Prince Edward Island and New Brunswick. Now we slide further west, and our second area of interest is now pushing through the Great Lakes region. So that has prompted severe thunderstorm watches for all areas in the pink. Now this yellow is a thunderstorm warning that was just issued off the southern shore of Lake Huron. So that thunderstorm is already raging this morning. You can see that while most of Quebec is enjoying sunshine, we just have cloud further south and then this wetter weather taking over. Now these storms have the potential to bring very heavy downpours right through the morning drive, plus wind gusts of 90 kilometers an hour. And unfortunately, they last in some areas for a lot of today. So this is the outlook for just shy of 9 a.m. local time in the east, and you can see that those storms start to push towards the Toronto area through Hamilton as well. By the time we head into the afternoon, it's fairly unsettled, not just in southern Ontario, but all the way across the Great Lakes as we head up towards Thunder Bay as well. Now for Thursday evening, for tonight, most of the activity begins to end right around midnight, but it's still fairly cloudy across the south. Friday, we see a similar setup where it becomes showery, quite unsettled for the morning, possible thunderstorms as well. Through the day on Friday, we'll see that convective activity generally move its way eastward from Toronto east up towards areas in southern Quebec, north of Montreal, and then possibly through the eastern townships as we head into early Saturday morning. That wet weather will linger Saturday morning in southern Quebec, but in behind that, we'll see more sunshine developing across areas that we're dealing with the rain today and tomorrow. Here's where we're at right now, and you can see it is quite unsettled. Just a quick zoom in on those storms. Winds are dealing with a pretty hefty thunderstorm at this hour. That's a look at the east. Coming up, we've got heat warnings once again in Western Canada. For now, here's your local forecast. That I would just park and watch. This morning, you're likely waking up to thunder if you're tuning in from portions of southwestern Ontario, including down towards Windsor. Goderich, you are under a severe thunderstorm warning. Sarnia as well. Here's why: because of this activity moving in from Michigan. These storms pretty indicative of the forecast today in southern Ontario. Further north, high pressure is at play through northern Ontario and into most of central Quebec and northern Quebec as well. So there's just a few showers lingering this morning in the northwest and for pockets of northern Ontario, but it's further south through southern Ontario and southern Quebec and then into Atlantic Canada where we have the much more active weather. So here are the storms that we're concerned about this morning. This one right here is dropping nickel-sized hail, heavy downpours and wind gusts up to 90 kilometers an hour. Same story as we're tracking the storms in towards Sarnia. So you can see those warnings this morning that have been updated within the last 15 minutes. A widespread watch outside of that for all areas in the pink because conditions are favorable. Remember the difference between a watch and a warning. Watch just means conditions are favorable. It's possible this could happen. A warning means it's imminent or it's currently happening. So that's the difference there. Now, in terms of the forecast, you can see not only is it going to be stormy, it's also quite cool across southern Ontario. We've got that risk of storms pretty well through the day. Further north, a little more sunshine, but not much warm up. Timmins today, 23. Thunder Bay, you've got rain, as I mentioned, lighter rain, but 17 is all you'll get to. Now, as we head into southern Quebec, Ottawa, you can see BC, in eastern Ontario, seeing a few showers this morning, but that heavier rain is definitely east as we're heading towards Montreal, Sherbrooke, and then up towards Quebec City. That's where the rain stays pretty dominant through today. North of that, much more sunshine in the forecast today. And then for Atlantic Canada, we add you in, and you can see New Brunswick, you've got rain this morning. That's going to slide in towards Nova Scotia through the day today, leaving a fairly wet forecast. Newfoundland, you generally stay pretty sunny into your afternoon, so a good variety in weather forecasted today for the Atlantic provinces. Now we slide over. Well, we're starting off in British Columbia this morning. Good morning to you guys and to our viewers at home, where we're seeing very similar temperatures and very similar conditions as to yesterday. So yesterday, firefighters were talking about how things were going well for them. Hopefully that continues today. There's still widespread air quality advisories, though, throughout the interior of British Columbia and then spilling over into Alberta west of Edmonton because of the amount of smoke that's still lingering in the air from those continued burning flames. Now, in terms of wind, there is the chance we could see more widespread elevated winds today, but similar to the speeds yesterday, they were anywhere between about 20 and 40 kilometers an hour. And again, it looks like the bullseye right around Ashcroft as we head towards this upper hour. We could see those elevated gusts close to 40 kilometers an hour. That's exactly how it played out yesterday. So hopefully, like I said, with conditions feeling better yesterday for crews on the ground, hopefully that feeling continues again today. In terms of the temperatures, though, I mean, sunshine right across the region, and that continues for Williams Lake and Ashcroft as well, with very warm temperatures. Speaking of heat, as we head into Alberta, heat warnings are back east of Calgary through Brooks, Strathmore, down towards Medicine Hat. Daytime temperatures close to 29 degrees Celsius with little reprieve overnight. So that heat definitely making it unbearable further south. Further north, north of Edmonton and then into Saskatchewan, there is a thunderstorm risk later on today, and you can see that definitely amplifies through the evening, sliding its way eastward into Saskatchewan as we head into Friday morning. Speaking of storms, we already have them this morning with showers in the northwest of Ontario, but further south, we're watching a couple different storms that are bringing nickel-sized hail for your Friday Eve morning. This morning, very heavy downpours, wind gusts up to 90 kilometers an hour. Widespread warnings for areas in the yellow because of that heavy downpour, the possibility of hail, tough driving conditions. Outside of that warning, widespread watches that are just west of the city of Toronto. Now, up towards Ottawa, there were early morning showers to start us off. That continues through southern Quebec through Montreal as well, sliding into Atlantic Canada. Bring along your rain gear today for the Maritimes, but in Newfoundland, I mean, you can enjoy the sun right throughout your afternoon. Saturday is the day in southern Ontario. It is the one day of the extended forecast with sunshine. You know where the sun continues to shine is in the southern BC interior, and unfortunately that's not the forecast we'd like to be delivering this morning. We do have some rain showers further north this morning, but you can see they are up towards Prince George. Where we need them is down towards Williams Lake and Ashcroft, and we don't just need showers, we need a hefty dump of rain. Unfortunately, that's not in the forecast. Air quality continues to be significantly reduced right through the BC interior, down through the southern Okanagan, and then into the northern foothills west of Edmonton this morning. Now, that will continue to be the case through today. There's the chance that some thunderstorms in and around the Edmonton area later on this afternoon could help to improve the air quality as that rain falls and just grabs all that particulate matter, drags it right down to the ground. Wind forecast, I mean, the winds, they're similar to yesterday, but a little more widespread today. Yesterday, they were centered right around Ashcroft, but we're seeing more communities likely to see those elevated gusts. And right around Ashcroft near the supper hour, wind gusts could be near that 40-kilometer-an-hour mark, similar to what we were forecasting yesterday. It is hot in Alberta, east of Calgary. Daytime temperatures near 29 degrees. Calgary itself getting up to 30 today. And we're seeing that heat extend into Saskatchewan. While it's quiet this morning, though, there is the risk of seeing some thunderstorms developing northwest of Edmonton, as I mentioned, and then sliding eastward into northern Saskatchewan as we head into tomorrow morning. We've got thunderstorms this morning already. Some severe thunderstorms in southern Ontario. Widespread warnings through London, through Goderich, and then westward towards Sarnia. Nickel-sized hail, heavy downpours, and we're seeing that warning continue to be extended eastward as those storms track their way further east. They are moving in towards the Toronto area right during that morning commute, so keep it in mind. It is a tough go on those roads. Not the only community seeing rain as we head over to southern Quebec. The rain is lighter, but enough to impact your drive for sure. The Maritimes, you need your rain gear today, but enjoy the sun up towards Newfoundland. It's definitely much milder for your Thursday. Now here's a look at your local forecast. Yes, absolutely. Yes, that is every mother or parent this morning with tiny little ones crawling into bed. Good morning. We start in BC where the air quality is reduced. You just heard our reporter Sheila on the ground in Kamloops indicating that the winds are a little bit stronger in Kamloops than they were yesterday morning. That for sure echoes what we're seeing with the computer models as well. So nice to see that confirmation on the ground. Widespread wind, similar to the speeds we had yesterday, but yesterday they were fairly isolated around the Ashcroft area. Now it's a larger portion of the interior that's seeing that wind right around 20 kilometers an hour. The possible gusts are, again, bullseyed right around Ashcroft, closer to 40 kilometers an hour. Alberta, the top story will be thunderstorms around Edmonton later on today, and then the heat south, east of Calgary. We are seeing those those heat warnings still in effect with likelihood of temperatures close to 29 degrees Celsius. Southern Ontario, we jump all the way to you because severe thunderstorms are the game this morning with very heavy downpours, the possibility of hail up to about 2 centimeters in size, and winds at 90 kilometers an hour. Those are the warnings across the country, but in terms of your daytime highs, here's where we're at. A wet day for portions of New Brunswick and Nova Scotia. Bring along your rain gear. Up towards Newfoundland, more sunshine, Labrador as well. Rain continues through southern Quebec, but central Quebec will see more sunshine later on today under the influence of sunshine. But Quebec City, Montreal, even into Ottawa, seeing that rain and cooler forecast. Thunderstorms in southern Ontario on and off through the day today. The worst of it definitely this morning. Further north, right across the Great Lakes, we've got this band of rain. So North Bay, for example, you'll see more sunshine. Thunder Bay, you'll stay wet with 17, dried and sun for you. Sun in Winnipeg today with a high of 25. That clear sky continuing into Saskatchewan, and that's where we find the heat. 29 today in Regina, 31 for Saskatoon, 30 degrees in Calgary. Again, sunshine for the south, but further north in through Edmonton, the risk of severe thunderstorms later on this afternoon. That'll then push eastward into Saskatchewan, northern parts of the province as we head into the morning hours tomorrow. And then hot and dry into the BC interior. Prince George likely to see more showers than further south, but Kelowna dry and hot today, 31 degrees. That's a look across the country. Now we'll send it to Ben and Anne-Marie. Not really a turn country singer, like big stretch. Just big stretch, okay? Like that. Okay.
She's a bit of a connoisseur on the country singers. It's just not.
A little bit.
It's not.
Yep.
You know what? Some people are saying that this might
Columbia this morning, where you've just heard Lois talking about the continued wildfire situation. In terms of the forecast for a couple of areas of interest, Williams Lake, again, we're seeing a lot of sunshine today, 23 degrees, winds right around that 20-kilometer-an-hour mark. Ashcroft, similar story with elevated gusts likely right as we head into the supper hour. That's when the winds will intensify, gusting up to about 40 clicks an hour. Pretty quiet now south of Williams Lake. North of that up towards Prince George, there have been some scattered showers this morning. We are seeing that poor air quality advisory continue for the entirety pretty well of the interior and then into Alberta as well. Thunderstorms right around Edmonton later on today will likely improve the air quality as the rain falls. But into BC, I mean, these are going to persist for the next foreseeable future. Now, in terms of wind, it's a little more widespread today. Not strong winds by any mean, right around that 20-kilometer-an-hour mark, but they are much more widespread over the interior than they were yesterday. And there's that bullseye right around Ashcroft as we head into the evening, the winds amplifying. Now, outside of those two communities, through the rest of the interior, it is hot and dry today, and it's even hotter as we head into tomorrow. Speaking of heat, there are heat warnings east of Calgary all the way towards the Saskatchewan boundary. It is going to be a 30-degree day with not much relief overnight. Now, we see that heat in Saskatchewan as well with sunshine today, sunshine in Manitoba, temperatures in the mid-20s. But right around Edmonton, that's where we've got the risk of some severe weather as we head into this afternoon, those storms developing and then continuing into Saskatchewan by tomorrow morning. Now, southern Ontario, there are those storms that I mentioned. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings that have now been expanded to include the city of Hamilton all the way towards Niagara as well. We are seeing heavy downpours, possibility of nickel-sized hail, and strong wind gusts of 90 kilometers an hour. Also, rain in southern Quebec this morning. Keep your umbrella with you through the day, through Montreal up towards Quebec City, through the eastern townships. Rain gear needed in the Maritimes today, but up towards Newfoundland, phew. You got sunshine. I'm out of breath. We need some sun in the forecast. Canada, that's a look at your Thursday. Now here's your local forecast.